morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the Wristwatch News channel. I'm Nick, and today we are going to be reviewing the Constellar Origin, which is a piece from a microbrand, Constellar Timepieces, which are based in Singapore. If you're new to the channel, we like to review watches, watch accessories, talk about watch-related content. If that's your bag, you're in the right place. For returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming again and again. I know I don't post that often, and I've been quite busy, so this one's a bit late as well. But thanks again, and I really appreciate you coming back. The Constellar Origin is the third attempt from Edgar and Song, who make up Constellar Timepieces. Edgar also is one of the nicest brand owners that I've talked to, albeit via email. And the reason why I was emailing Edgar is because I bought this watch on eBay. It turned out it was a review piece that shouldn't have gone into general sale. Edgar, through email contact, helped me identify that the watch was a review piece, and then it ended up being that I had to return it to the person I bought it from so they could send it back to Edgar. Edgar then offered me a discount at the price I paid for it on eBay. That was a really nice gesture. Many brands out of Singapore make great watches. Is this one of them? Let's have a look at it and find out. What do you get if you buy a Constellar Origin? Well, as I mentioned earlier, this is a review piece, but I checked with Edgar and I've got everything but the warranty card. So it comes in a nice black branded cardboard outer box, and inside we have a cork travel case and then a tracing sketch of the Origin, which is a nice little addition there. Cork case feels nice and solid in the hand, and the watch sits on a substantial cushion within the soft lined box. Being a review piece, it came with 2 matching bracelets. If new, there would have been a warranty card offering a 1-year limited warranty. Before it was established it was a review piece, Edgar offered me a 6-month warranty when I initially reached out, which of course, having bought it from eBay without a warranty card, is not something you had to do. Okay, so we're on to the stats now. So I haven't got a model number for this watch. It's just the Constellar Origin. No model number mentioned on the website. It's a 316L stainless steel case and bracelet. The case is 38mm. We've got a case thickness of 10.6 without the crystal, including then the top hat sapphire. It's 11.6mm. The unusual onion crown measures as 6.3mm. We got a lug width of 20mm with a bracelet tapering from 20mm to 16 and up to 17.5mm at the clasp. We've got a lug-to-lug of 44.5mm. The sapphire top hat crystal has 3 layers of blue AR on the underside. Power in the Origin is a manual wind Solita 240-1M, a Laborie grade movement which can be seen through a sapphire open caseback. It's a 28,000 beat per hour movement with a quick set day-date complication and a power reserve of up to 42 hours. And the stated water resistance is 100 meters. The Constellar Origin is Edgar and Song's third attempt at releasing a watch. The first being the Epoch and then the Starseeker. Unfortunately for Edgar and Song, both of those earlier campaigns failed to catch the watch enthusiasm and didn't take off how they wanted them to. Even with a piece in a blog to watch, the everyday dress watch Epoch didn't really meet expectations, and the same happened with the Starseeker. Good reviews from Perth Watch on YouTube and a blog post from the Time Bum couldn't really bring in enough orders to make them a success. I wasn't fussed on the observatory caseback on the Starseeker, as it looked to me like someone had drawn the Omega caseback from memory, the one in the Constellation line. Otherwise, it was a solid looking watch. So, did Edgar and Song give up? No, they decided to go big or go home and came up with the Origin. Released in November of 2023, I'd say it's a dress sports watch. It doesn't quite fit in the sports watch category, and it's not dressy enough to be deemed a dress watch. It is definitely its own animal. The Origin is a watch that's all about aesthetic. A rounded case which is primarily brushed, with a high polished chamfer running around the bezel and the side of the lugs, vertical brushing to the sides of the case, and the intriguing lugs that don't flow from the case, which gives the head a bit more presence on the wrist, which may have been a concern considering the smaller size for the 38mm and smaller lug-to-lug. The lugs are rounded downwards and have a recess or a mottle effect within to create light play between the brushed and high polished finishes. Signed onion-style crown with the Constellar logo, which appears to be a play on the Sagittarius zodiac sign. Fitted end links, which align pretty well with the case, but the design of the lugs makes it so that it doesn't look integrated, as there is a high polished cut on the inside of the lug, which looks fantastic on a strap, but not so much on the bracelet. Speaking of the bracelet, well, it's an interesting bracelet, and I personally really quite like it. Many people pay top dollar to have their bracelets and watch heads engraved, so I can see the appeal. The bracelet is a free link style bracelet that echoes Grand Seiko with a high polished line at the sides of the center link. However, the center link is also laser etched with the corrugated steel pattern. Small push button milled deployment clasp with 2 micro adjust holes laser etched with the same pattern and the Constellar branding with polished chamfers each side. Open case back with 4 screws holding the case back in place. A high polished chamfer runs around the edge of the case back and is etched with the Constellar Origin and proudly designed in Singapore. Like the bracelet, the dial on the Constellar is no slouch and there is a lot going on. This is the vermilion red model. There's also cerulean blue, viridian green, pewter grey, and cinnabar brown. The dial is a degrade dial with the dial getting darker nearer the outer track, which sits above the dial and has diamond-shaped indexes. Beyond the raised index wheel sits the white printed minute track, which is at dial level. The dial has circular brushing to aid the degrade effect, and the tone of the vermilion red changes slightly depending on the light. The diamond indexes are high polished and prismed to aid light play. The circular light gold raised piece that the indexes sit on is bead blasted. This watch really is all about the play between light and shadow. Applied Constellar logo above the pinion and Constellar Origin also applied below the pinion, which I think would have been better printed. Of course, this watch has a day-date complication with the day sitting within that raised index wheel and color matched as well. And the date sitting at the 6 at the dial level is also color matched then to the dial. The date window is on the small side. Brushed needle hands, which look like they could have held a decent amount of loom, but instead the space has been left to show the dial underneath. Cap seconds hand also brushed, reaching into the printed minute track. Alright, so the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good. If you want a sports watch, but also like to step out like a Congolese dandy, this is the watch for you. The finishing is top-notch, the dial execution is gorgeous, those diamond markers look expensive, and the bracelet is a refreshing change from the perfunctory brushed wrist hugger that we're usually used to. The bad, though, the hands aren't great. I can see what they've gone for, but I personally would have either preferred them to have had some loom or polished edges, as they can wash out in the low light. The date window is quite small, and being color matched means that it's not easy to read. This, of course, is to semi-hide the fact it even has a day date. I think it might have been better for Constellar to have actually just gone with a no date, as it would have suited the watch better, and this is coming from someone who likes a date complication on my watches. The applied Constellar Origin text below the pinion is too soft, it needs to be sharper, like the diamond index is. Apart from those few points, though, the watch is really all about personal preference. If you're the type of guy, gal, or they that feels watches should have a purpose and your go-to is a tool watch, this probably isn't the watch for you. And again, if you're into your dress watches and wouldn't spit on a Rolex Submariner if it was on fire, you've probably got money to buy something a bit more in your wheelhouse already. But if you like to ride the line between, I think this would interest you. Now, price could be deemed a bad point, as this watch is $1,000 and you can buy some nice watches for $1,000. But again, you can't buy something similar to this watch, as it really is its own beast. And of course, price is always subjective. I feel it's a tad on the high side personally, but a lot of work has gone into it, so I can understand why they've priced it as such. The ugly blue anti-reflective coating on a red dial watch. So that's all I'm going to say there. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining me for another review. The Vermilion Red, which we've been looking at, is a personal favourite of co-founder Edgar, who I was corresponding with. He says on the website something along the lines that it's the kind of watch that you wear on a day that you want to wear something a bit special. I can agree with that sentiment. The watch is doing something different. I like it. Would I pay full price for one? I don't personally think so, but that's just because it's not quite within my style. I like a dress watch, but I like a dress watch to be a dress watch. And then similar with a sports watch. I think the closest that I've come to that I really liked as a sort of a bit of a mix was the old Christopher Ward C60 Trident, because that was like a sports watch, but it had quite a dressy appeal. But that's as far as I'd go with it. You can pick up the Constellar Origin for $1,000 from the Constellar website. I'll pop a link in the description. $1,000 in pounds is about £784 at the moment, I think. But, you know, prices can fluctuate depending on the exchange rate. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. There may be links in the description to other watches that you can pick up from AliExpress or perhaps watch accessories. If you can use those links, it really does help the channel and I would appreciate it. I've also ordered the Gerard Perregaux homage, the BETTIMER Laureato. Laureato? Yeah, I think so. Which could be worth a look. And hopefully that'll be with us soon. And I'll see you in the next one.